Wrong Turn 2. Dead End follows a group of strangers who participate in a survival reality show called Ultimate Survivalist, hosted by former Marine Colonel Dale Murphy, in the remote forests of West Virginia. The contestants expect a challenging but controlled competition where they will test their physical strength, teamwork, and survival skills. However, shortly after the show begins, they realize that something is terribly wrong when they discover signs that they are not alone in the wilderness. A brutal and deformed cannibal family lives deep in the forest, and they begin hunting the contestants one by one using deadly traps, surprise attacks, and savage violence. As fear spreads and the body count rises, the contestants struggle not only against the murderous mutants, but also against panic, mistrust, and conflict within their own group. Colonel Dale Murphy steps up as a strong leader and fights back courageously, trying to protect the remaining survivors and guide them to safety. The situation turns into a desperate fight for survival as the contestants attempt to escape the forest while being relentlessly chased. In the end, after intense and bloody confrontations, only a few people manage to survive the nightmare, leaving behind a horrifying reminder that the wilderness hides deadly secrets far worse than any reality show challenge. Wrong Turn 2. Dead End tells the terrifying story of a group of contestants who sign up for a wilderness reality TV competition called Ultimate Survivalist, expecting fame and adventure. The show, led by former Marine Colonel Dale Murphy, is set deep in the isolated forests of West Virginia, where participants must survive with limited supplies while completing various challenges. At first, the competition feels intense but manageable, and the contestants focus on teamwork, strategy, and endurance. However, their adventure quickly turns into a nightmare when they encounter a family of deformed cannibals who secretly inhabit the forest. The mutant family is ruthless and highly familiar with the terrain. They set deadly traps, stalk the contestants silently, and launch sudden, violent attacks. One by one, the participants are captured or killed in brutal ways, causing panic and mistrust among the remaining group members. As fear grows, some contestants break down emotionally, while others try to fight back and escape. Colonel Dale Murphy becomes the group's strongest defender, using his military training and courage to protect the survivors. He confronts the cannibals directly, leading to intense and bloody battles. Despite their efforts, most of the contestants fall victim to the savage family. In the final act, the few remaining survivors attempt a desperate escape from the forest. After a fierce and violent showdown, only a small number manage to survive. The film ends with the sense that the nightmare may not truly be over, leaving a chilling impression about the dangers hidden deep within the wilderness. Wrong Turn 2. Dead End is a survival horror story centered around a reality TV show called Ultimate Survivalist, where several contestants are taken to a remote forest in West Virginia to compete for a cash prize. The show is hosted by retired Marine Colonel Dale Murphy, a tough and experienced leader who believes the challenge will test the participants' strength and determination. The contestants come from different backgrounds and personalities, creating tension and competition among them even before the real danger begins. What starts as a planned survival exercise soon turns into a deadly nightmare. Unbeknownst to the show's crew and participants, a violent cannibal mutant family lives deep within the forest. These deformed killers have survived for years by hunting and eating anyone who enters their territory. As the contestants spread out to complete their assigned challenges, the cannibals begin stalking them, using brutal traps and ambush tactics to capture and kill them. Panic quickly spreads through the group as they realize the threat is real and not part of the show. Trust begins to break down, arguments erupt, and fear takes control. Colonel Murphy steps into action, using his combat skills to defend the survivors and organize a plan to fight back. Several intense and bloody confrontations follow, showing the desperate struggle between the hunted contestants and their savage predators. Despite their efforts, most of the group is slaughtered. In the climactic final battle, a few determined survivors manage to defeat some members of the cannibal family and escape the forest. However, the film ends with a dark and unsettling tone, suggesting that the horror lurking in the wilderness may still continue. Wrong Turn 2. Dead End follows a group of 6 contestants who take part in a survival-based reality television show titled Ultimate Survivalist. Hosted by retired Marine Colonel Dale Murphy, the show is filmed in the remote and heavily wooded mountains of West Virginia. The contestants expect a difficult but controlled competition where they will test their endurance, intelligence, and teamwork in extreme outdoor conditions. Each participant has a strong personality, which creates tension and rivalry within the group even before any real danger appears. As the competition begins, the contestants are divided into teams and sent into the forest with limited supplies. At first, they focus on building shelter, finding food, and completing assigned survival challenges. However, the situation quickly turns horrifying when they discover disturbing signs that they are not alone. A cannibalistic mutant family has been living in the forest for years, surviving by hunting and killing anyone who enters their territory. The mutants begin attacking the contestants using brutal traps and violent ambushes. One by one, members of the group are captured or killed in gruesome ways. Fear spreads rapidly, and trust among the contestants starts to collapse. Some panic, others try to escape, and a few attempt to fight back. Colonel Dale Murphy becomes the strongest protector of the group, using his military experience and bravery to confront the cannibals directly. As the body count rises, the remaining survivors plan a desperate escape. A final, intense battle takes place between the contestants and the cannibal family. Although most of the participants die, a small number manage to survive and flee the forest. The film ends on a dark and chilling note, leaving the audience with the feeling that the terror in the wilderness may not be completely over. Wrong Turn 2. Dead End is a brutal survival horror film that revolves around a reality TV competition called Ultimate Survivalist. A group of strangers volunteer to participate in the show, hoping to win prize money and gain fame. The competition is hosted by retired Marine Colonel Dale Murphy, who is experienced, tough, and confident that he can handle any survival situation. The filming location is a remote forest in West Virginia, far from civilization, where the contestants must survive with limited resources. At first, the atmosphere is competitive but controlled. The participants focus on completing survival tasks such as building shelter, gathering food, and working in teams. However, their adventure soon turns into a nightmare when they encounter a family of deformed cannibals living deep in the forest. These mutants have adapted to the wilderness and survive by hunting humans. The cannibal family begins stalking the contestants silently, setting up deadly traps and attacking without warning. The violence is sudden and extremely brutal. As members of the group are killed one by one, panic spreads among the survivors. Trust breaks down, arguments begin, and fear takes control of their decisions. Colonel Dale Murphy steps forward as the main defender, using his military training to fight back against the attackers. He tries to organize the frightened contestants and create a plan to escape the forest safely. Several intense confrontations occur, leading to bloody battles between the survivors and the cannibal family. In the end, after a fierce final showdown, only a few contestants manage to survive and escape. The film concludes with a dark tone, suggesting that the forest still hides deadly secrets and that the terror may not be fully over. Wrong Turn 2. Dead End continues the terrifying theme of deadly encounters in the wilderness, focusing on a reality television survival competition called Ultimate Survivalist. A group of diverse contestants travels to the isolated forests of West Virginia, expecting a challenging but organized event where they can prove their strength, intelligence, and endurance. The show is hosted by retired Marine Colonel Dale Murphy, a disciplined and fearless leader who believes the competition will push everyone to their limits. Once the challenge begins, the contestants are split into teams and sent deep into the forest with minimal supplies. Their tasks include building shelters, finding food, and navigating rough terrain. While some participants clash due to strong personalities and competitive attitudes, the situation remains manageable at first. However, the peaceful setting soon becomes terrifying when they discover disturbing evidence that they are being watched. Hidden within the forest lives a savage cannibal mutant family that has survived for years by hunting humans. These deformed killers are ruthless, organized, and completely familiar with the land. They begin attacking the contestants unexpectedly, using brutal traps and ambush tactics. One by one, the participants are captured or killed in violent and shocking ways. As fear spreads, the group struggles to stay united. Some lose hope, while others attempt to fight back. Colonel Murphy becomes the central figure of resistance, bravely confronting the cannibals and trying to protect the remaining survivors. Intense and bloody battles follow as the contestants attempt to escape the nightmare. In the climax, after a fierce final confrontation, only a small number of survivors manage to defeat some members of the cannibal family and escape the forest. The film ends with a chilling sense of uncertainty, suggesting that the horror hidden in the wilderness may still continue. Wrong Turn 2: Dead End is a gruesome survival horror film that centers on a reality television show called Ultimate Survivalist. A group of strangers gathers in the remote wilderness of West Virginia to compete in a challenging outdoor contest for fame and prize money. The show is led by retired Marine Colonel Dale Murphy, a strict but capable host who believes the experience will test the contestants' physical and mental strength. The competition begins with the participants divided into teams and sent deep into the forest with limited supplies. They are expected to build shelters, find food, and complete survival-based missions while being filmed. At first, the tension comes mainly from personality clashes, as the contestants struggle with teamwork and rivalry. However, the situation quickly turns into real terror when they realize they are being hunted. Unbeknownst to them, a cannibalistic mutant family lives in the forest. These deformed and savage killers have survived in isolation for years by preying on humans who wander into their territory. Using clever traps, stealth attacks, and brutal force, the family begins capturing and killing the contestants one by one. As panic spreads, trust breaks down among the remaining group members. Some try to run, while others freeze in fear. Colonel Murphy takes control of the situation, using his military training and bravery to fight back and protect the survivors. Several intense and bloody confrontations follow, showing the desperate struggle between the contestants and the cannibal family. In the dramatic final battle, only a few contestants manage to survive and escape the forest. The movie ends on a dark and unsettling note, suggesting that the nightmare in the wilderness may not be completely over.